What's up everyone, Alan here. Today we're going to talk about how I vacation for free.
Vacation?
And hopefully many of you will find this strategy useful for you to vacation for free and get some valuable information on, I'm talking about travel, not just local, but internationally. And I'm also talking about staying in homes, not just hotels, not just experiences where you're in a room. Like if you're traveling with a group of friends, you can be in a home. You can be in separate bedrooms and have your own kitchen and have common areas, barbecue area, yard. You could get a car for free. This is gonna be pretty eye-opening for some of you who've never heard of this. I've done this 15 to 20 times with my family and we love it. So let's dig into it. Let's get into the details of the deal, how we do this, and I hope you're inspired. So let's first start with talking about what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Airbnb, I'm not talking about renting a place. I'm talking about doing a home exchange.
Only available for home exchange. Home exchange, what is that?
Now before you disqualify yourself, this can be for homeowners or it can be for tenants, for all different types of situations. And I'll get into that. I'll get into some of the ups and downs. I'll get into some of the ways to do it well. But first, let's start with a couple examples. I've probably done with my family 15 to 20 of these where literally we've swapped homes or exchanged homes. Some of them what we call simultaneous, and I'll get into that. Some of them non-simultaneous. That means we stayed in their home, or sometimes it's a second home like a mountain home or whatever, when they were not staying in ours. And so I'll get into all of that. But first, a fun few stories.
Let me tell you a story.
We've gone to local, like California, so we're in Santa Barbara, California. We've traveled up and down the coast. That's super easy. Budget friendly. It's pretty much a free vacation. I mean, we just get in the car and we drive, we bring some groceries, we'll eat out a bit, but really we're staying in someone else's place, often while they're staying in ours. We've done it up and down the coast. We've stayed at some places that are beachfront. We've stayed at places with pools and had all kinds of amazing experiences doing that. And then we've gone farther. We've gone out of state to Denver. On the one that we did in Denver, we actually did the exchange with cars as well. There's a way that you can set it up where you're not just doing the home, you're also swapping cars. And you set it up with liability waivers and make sure your insurance covers it. And it was great. The ironic thing is we both had a Honda CR-V. And so I had the same car that I drive here, I had there, and it was great for getting the family around. The only thing we paid on that trip was our airfare. And we were able to get a car basically there ready for us, have a place to stay, and it was us and the kids, and it was great. Because we both have family homes and we had kids in this situation, we were able to exchange. Our kids had toys already at the house, they had a whole playroom set up. Our kids had a blast, we had a blast. It's a great way to travel and we absolutely loved it. Now, international. We've gone to Copenhagen. This was awesome. And the Copenhagen one, we also did exchange cars. So, because you can imagine how much a rental car is in Copenhagen. I mean, it probably would have been at least $1,000 a week, probably more. And we stayed in a loft in downtown Copenhagen. Walking distance, we would ride our bikes every day. Actually, they had a few bikes for us and then we rented a couple more bikes for the kids and we rode bikes every day and they stayed at our place. We did a full week in the summer in Copenhagen. Stayed for free, had a car for free. It was just awesome. So let's break this down. Let's talk about this a bit. I wrote down a few notes for you to just kind of help you get my thoughts on how to do this right and what maybe even some of the challenges could be. Maybe even some of the downside. I mean, the first thing I put is home swapping is not right for everyone. I mean, maybe there's a situation where you have a home that's full of incredibly expensive or delicate antiques or I don't know, some sort of situation with your home where you couldn't lock those things in a certain room or whatever, then it just might not be right for you. It's not exactly free. The website we're a part of, it's homeexchange.com. It's a membership and it's $150 a year. That is fantastic. So if we stay one night in a home, which these homes probably rent for $200, $300, $400 a night, some of them, and up, we've made that money back instantly. $150 a year gives us access to the world of home exchanges. So it's not exactly free, but it's pretty dirt cheap. We make that money back the first night, the rest of the year is free. Third thing, there's more than one way to do a home swap. There's the simultaneous that I mentioned before. There's the non-simultaneous. So the simultaneous is where you're actually home swapping with someone and they're staying at your house while you're staying at theirs. That's a simultaneous exchange. And by the way, because we're bartering, this isn't a short-term rental. This is not a vacation rental. If vacation rentals are outlawed, now of course I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving you any legal advice. Please check with your attorney, your dentist, your veterinary, whoever you need to check with. But because you're bartering, you're not exchanging funds, you're not doing a short-term rental. If short-term rentals are illegal or not zoned or whatever in where you live, this may be a solution where you could still travel and do an exchange. Typically, the people that are staying in our place have not only kept an eye on our place while we're gone, but they've also fed the animals and fed the pets. Sometimes we ask them, especially if they have kids, if they want us to leave the dog behind, or we have chickens outside. Do they want to feed the chickens, or should we have the neighbor do it? They can get the eggs from the chickens. There's all kinds of things that happen where it's just great to do a simultaneous exchange, and because you're bartering, it does not go into the category of short-term rental or vacation rental. So that's a simultaneous exchange. A non-simultaneous exchange is where you're going to stay at their place, but they're not going to be staying at yours. And so often some of the websites or services that provide this, you can look at the most popular ones, again, the one we're using, and they're not sponsoring this video even though they should be, is Home Exchange. They will give you points. So let's say we're staying at a house, it's their second home, so they're not there, it's in the mountains or whatever. They're gonna get 200 or 300 points for us staying there, and then they can use those points for staying somewhere else, on someone else that wants to do a non-simultaneous exchange. And those points are almost like equivalent to dollars. So 200, 300 is like maybe a house that's probably worth about 200, 300 a night. And that's a great way where people can travel, especially if you have a second home that's maybe not being used, and you can use this as a strategy to travel for next to free. The other thing I wanted to mention is to be clear on expectations. So you want to go into the details, just like we do here. We like to go into the details of the deals. No fluff, but you want to go into the details of the exchange. Like, what's going to happen with food? Can they just access the fridge, or are you clearing it out? What's going to happen with linens? Like, typically what we do is we have a set of guest linens we put on the beds and towels, and then they can just rip those off and throw them in the laundry room when they leave, and we're good. And then also talk about cleaning. Like, do you expect the place to be professionally cleaned? Or some people might even say, hey, you know, just give us the cleaning fee for the cleaning people. Typically what we'll do is we'll just agree to both leave it fairly clean, you know, broom swept clean. That's something you want to think about. Again, I mentioned it's not just for homeowners. Just because you don't own your place does not mean this is a strategy you couldn't use. You might want to check with your landlord or check with your lease, or if you're part of a co-op, check with the board or whoever you have to check with. But basically you're bartering, or this could be someone that's going to keep an eye on your place while you're gone, depending on the situation, depending on the details that you work out. So it could be for a lot of different people in a lot of different situations. I mentioned you can swap cars too. That's a great strategy, and it's safe. We've done 20 of these. There's one of the websites that I was reading that has done this for a long time. They said for 60 years they've done this without any thefts reported. And you got to think about it, especially most of these are simultaneous. The non-simultaneous exchanges are growing. They're staying in your house and you're staying in theirs. So there's a bit of a mutual trust going on there. Very rarely, or if ever, are there problems. I know I haven't heard of any. On homeexchange.com, they're listing their inventories at 400,000 homes. So there's 400,000 homes, apartments, lofts, guest houses, mountain homes, beach homes. That sounded like a commercial. But they're on there to pick from. I just get excited because we get on there and we look at all these different places, and a lot of people list where they're hoping to go, and you can kind of match make that way on where you're hoping to go. So they've listed 400,000 homes on just one of the main websites that does this. 187 countries. They're claiming that every 4 minutes they're organizing an exchange. That's pretty awesome. There's a lot of activity going on. It's something we've done over and over. Like I said, 15 to 20 times. We've stayed in England, we've stayed in Copenhagen, we've stayed in Denver, and all up and down the California coast. And I really highly recommend it. It's a way you could travel and stay for free. So if this is beneficial, if you're getting value out of this information, please do hit that like button. It helps us. Subscribe to our channel if you want to get updates on when we're posting more about this information or other tips, strategies, lifestyle hacks, real estate investing. Just hit that button and you'll get updates on when we're posting the next one. Look forward to it.